Live on Zoom. So we are all set. Hello, everyone. How are you? Welcome to the nutraMetrix Lunch and Learn series or breakfast series for our friends on the West Coast. My name is Brandi Murphy. I'm the Director of Training and Field Development with nutraMetrix. And I am joined today with Dennis Franks, our Executive Vice President for Market America, my team member and partner who I'm so excited to be interviewing today. Hi, Dennis.
Hi, Brandi. It's good to be here, and it's good to talk to all you fine unfranchised owners and guests today.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time. I know how busy you are, but I also know how passionate you are about nutraMetrix. In fact, you were one of the key drivers of the launch of the nutraMetrix program. So for everybody new, let's just jump right in. Can you tell them a little bit about why you started the nutraMetrix division, what the intent, why it was created back in 2004?
Yes. Well, actually, it went further before that, too. I mean, everything happens for a reason. I'm a firm believer in that. And you know, when you're running an enterprise like Market America, and it's an enterprise that is growing, and for those of you that don't know, Market America, the corporation, the mothership of nutraMetrix, has experienced 93 consecutive quarters of growth in its history. And you got to understand, when you have something like that, you have to be much aware not only of today on what's happening in the future. And Brandi, this all happened on a few things that were going on. One, we had noticed that a lot of health professionals were actually using our brands. The beautiful thing about our brands is that we spend a great deal of time on working with research and publications that have been in credible journals, and we have built formulas that have just changed people's lives. And then with the taking over of the isotonic capable delivery system, and for a lot of people, they don't understand that worldwide, no one produces or sells more isotonic capable nutrition than Market America and nutraMetrix with its isotonic brand. And so it's pretty exciting. But at the same time, for those of you that are aware of business, you have to be aware of regulations. You have to be aware of what lobbyists are on the House and so forth. And there was a movement, and this happens about every 10 years, where the pharmaceutical companies are trying to get the supplementation industry to be exclusively delivered through health professionals. And in that respect, Brandi, they can control pricing a little bit better.
Right.
Well, there was a pretty big movement back in the end of the 90s. And for those of you that are in our business, you realize we have vertical distribution and rather a unique environment that where people that currently served clients with supplements, dietary supplements, we were concerned that they may lose that market. But then recognizing that health professionals were representing our products, and literally every line throughout Market America's structure had health professionals in it, we felt that we could drive the supplemental business into our health professional world. But we found out that health professionals are rock stars, and we needed to give them their own brand. They wanted to be separated. And that's where the nutraMetrix brand came in. But it was because of many things happening and the recognition and the popularity of products and people having success. And at the same time, based on potential changes in the regulatory environment, nutraMetrix was born. And
it really does make perfect sense. And I could see how going, even from my own experience with products, I had been a supplement user prior to Market America, and I had tried many products, including products with some of the similar ingredients. But I also know I had horrible gut health. And so I had absorption issues. So even though I was taking products with good ingredients, I wasn't able to access them. And when I started with isotonics, I found isotonics in 2003. And when I started with isotonics, I got results that no other product was able to give me. And I went to my doctors. This was before nutraMetrix was created. I went to my doctors and said, they noticed that I was doing better. And they said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I found this great product that works for me." So it totally makes sense that we had practitioners already in our system organically before we had a program for health professionals. And it's such a win-win. When you created the nutraMetrix program, yes, it was a win to help protect our biggest market, but yes, it was a win for the health professional to have access to our incredible quality products. But then it also was a win for the unfranchised owner because you created an avenue and a training system for them to be able to work within the health professional space. So it was really a beautiful idea.
Well, you brought up something really exciting but painful in that evolution of working with health professionals. Believe me, folks, early on, health professionals were not really embracing supplementation in the early 2000s. And in fact, I have to tell you, when we first started doing this, I was thrown out of more health professional offices that I was invited to actually sit with the health professional, and it was a great learning experience. It was going through those repetitions, Brandi, that we started to really formulate what was it that we needed to do to make the relationship with health professionals be what it is today. I mean, we're talking a 40 million plus division a year with nutraMetrix alone and its nutraMetrix consultants. So it's quite substantial. So it was a pioneering effort, but I will say this: the team today, you and the team that have taken this over, has really excelled and made it exceptional what it is almost 20 years later.
Well, thank you. I mean, it was for all of us, you included, it was a labor of love, right? Because we're so passionate about getting this information out to healthcare professionals. And like you said in the beginning, in the 2000s, there wasn't a lot of training for doctors on lifestyle type medicine. In fact, it's kind of an interesting coincidence that nutraMetrix was launched in 2004, and so was the American Academy of Lifestyle Medicine, the American College of Lifestyle Medicine. And why was that? It was because, around the same time, there was this whole paradigm shift where patients had access to more information. Patients were looking for wellness options. Doctors didn't know where to go for information because the traditional medical education is very pharmaceutical driven and not lifestyle driven. But at that time, there was a need for that ongoing education. And as our training through nutraMetrix evolved, I mean, we started originally calling the UFOs that work with doctors, they were called NACs, which stood for, as you know, nutraceutical and anti-aging consultant, which kind of created some confusion a little bit, because it made the doctors think that the NCs were like biochemistry experts, that they were nutraceutical experts. And we kind of evolved away from that because we let the doctors teach the doctors, and we have an entire clinical faculty that teaches the doctors the biochemistry. But our nutraMetrix consultants are really the business consultants that teach the health professionals how to create a wellness program and implement lifestyle solutions like the Transitions Lifestyle System, which is a perfect part of nutraMetrix, a perfect marriage with nutraMetrix. So we go in as business consultants to the health professionals and help them create ancillary revenue through both retail and through the commission structure. So it's really an amazing program, in my opinion, but I might be a little biased.
Well, the other thing that helped us too is the internet. With the expansion of information, patients wanted options. They wanted to know, what could I use other than a pharmaceutical, and that really helped us too. And as that popularity and that information, grew, so did the interest begin to grow with our health professionals. And it's a perfect example of staying with something. If it's the right idea, if it's the right time, you just got to be patient enough so that it starts to evolve into your success story, and which nutraMetrix has done.
Right. And you mentioned about it being about a $40 million a year division. And I just want to speak to that from the industry standpoint for a second, because there are some big players in the health professional nutraceutical space, right? There are big players that have been around for 80 plus years, that some of them, they pay for preceptorships at the colleges and the medical universities and the chiropractic schools. They go to every medical conference. They pay for advertising in every medical journal. And they really put a lot out there from an investment standpoint to get in front of the health professionals. And there's two that are like in the $100 million a year category, but they've been around like 80 plus years. And then the rest of the players in that space, some of them have been around 20, 30 years, and they tend to generate about 25 to 30 million in revenue. And this is all that they do, right? And they still put money out into advertising. They still go to all the trade shows. They still invest in the university preceptorships. And we don't do any of that. we have a grassroots movement with a volunteer army of unfranchised
Correct.
owners who are passionate. And we surpassed that $25 million mark about 5-6 years into the development of nutraMetrix. Maybe it's like 8 years, but we surpassed what they were doing, which is a testament to the quality of the products, the testament to the unfranchised owner, the testament to the training program that we provide. So it's something I'm super proud about, because, you know, we're playing in that same space with these people that's all they do is sell products to health professionals. And many of their salespeople are employees who have been through years of professional sales training. And we have our unfranchised owners and our volunteer army, and we're as good, if not better, than many of those companies, which is awesome. I mean, awesome for us to be able to offer that.
I think it comes from the fact that the passion that our nutrimetrics consultants have, the willingness to put in time and effort before they get the return. You know, a lot of companies, they don't work that way. Our belief has always been built on success of our clients, and that reap the benefits for our unfranchised owners. But you hit it on the head. This is one of 12 divisions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're talking nearly $1 billion company here. And here, what you've done with what our nutrimetrics consultants have done with predominantly the supplemental side of this, even though we offer weight loss programs, we have genetic testing, we have customized nutrition. To me, those are the areas that we will expand, and will go from a $40 million to a $100 million division, because we've got great science, and we're now putting it in a way that it's so simple to implement that practitioners are going to want to integrate all the parts of our wellness programs, not just specific nutrients that they may be deficient from, that they may do a blood test on. You know, so
I absolutely agree. And, you know, like you said, that the program launched in 2004, and we've gone through some big evolutions. One of the programs that we came up with I think we launched in 2011, if I go back through the timeline, was our HP1 program.
right.
And the HP1 program, we call it our health professional introductory account. Can you talk a little bit about why we created the HP1 program, and what the impetus behind it was, what the rationale was, and then let's talk about how it's evolved.
Right. Right from the beginning, you have to understand, if you understand what Market America created in its management performance compensation plan, we changed an industry and creating a vertical distribution with independent contractors, that it was built upon not only getting clients products or get products to end consumers, it was built on a team concept. And in that case, we were asking for people to have structure, and our health professional executive program was putting them into that structure. Now, what we learned is that health professionals don't necessarily want to be in that format, or at least not in the beginning, because they weren't comfortable with it. So we had to take advantage of their built-in clientele and their need for an ancillary income stream. Most doctors will spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on test machines, go through all of these expensive classes, and getting specific employees for this, where we brought in a program that they literally could create a meaningful ancillary income by just taking on the nutrimetrics brands and working with our nutrimetrics consultants. So we established the health professional program, the one program, so that they could come in and experience the results. You see, we've never come in with high upfront entry level fees. And so now, literally, for less than $1,000, a health professional is in business, having access to literally hundreds of options of optimal wellness solutions. And they're getting in there with the opportunity to recover their startup capital and have an ongoing stream of income from the supplements and the weight loss and the testing going out to the clients in which they're looking for. So building that was a sense that, hey, you may not want the full program, but at the same time, the HP1 program will give you an opportunity to trial run the full program and allow you to gain confidence. Remember, a lot of health professionals are uncomfortable in selling.
Yeah.
They don't want to be seen as a salesperson. They want to be a provider,
Right.
But in reality, we know that your patients want to hear what the health professional recommends. They don't want to be directed down to the local pharmacy. They don't want to go to the local GNC or the local whatever, the grocery store. They prefer to know what is your preferred brand. And once they see that their clientele or patient base wants that, they become more interested in the entire program. So it was an important step for us.
I mean, it's such a great program too, because 2019 statistics from the consumer, the Consumers for Responsible Nutrition, the Council for Responsible Nutrition is what I'm looking for. Council for Responsible Nutrition show that greater than 70% of Americans take supplements already. So people
Right.
don't need to be sold on the idea of supplementation. But like you said, in the past, many practitioners would just say to a patient something like, you have low vitamin D levels. We need to get your vitamin D levels up. Go get a vitamin D. And then they'd go to GNC or Vitamin Shop or whatever store in the mall, when people would still go to the mall, and pick up a vitamin D. And that would create an opportunity loss for that practitioner, because they're the ones that made the recommendation, but the store was the one benefiting and the practitioner didn't. So when we launched the original nutraMetrix program, we knew that there were patients out there that wanted products. We knew that there were practices out there that wanted products. But one of the things we were struggling with is that our unfranchised owners only got like 5 or 10 minutes at a time, maybe 15, with a health professional. So to train a health professional on the products themselves, on how to create an implementation strategy, on how to create a retail initiative, and then how to create an unfranchise on top of that, was difficult in those 15-minute segments.
Absolutely.
And you had mentioned, maybe there were some out there that didn't want to build the whole business. I don't think it was actually ever that they didn't want to build it. I think they didn't have enough time to understand it, right? And so if you don't understand what something is, you don't value it enough to give it the time. And the beautiful thing about the HP1 program is it allows us to take baby steps with them and get them introduced to a product that they can introduce to the patient, even if it's one product like vitamin D. It doesn't have to be the whole system. It could be one product. And the first time a patient reorders, that builds their belief. The first time they get that retail profit, it builds their belief even. The first time a patient brings a referral into the practice and says, I felt so good on it, I want this person to have it, that builds their belief even more. And now that belief is built, they understand the value. Now they're willing to give the unfranchised owner NC the time to explore everything else we have to offer. And so it was really a bridge, like to create that time value so that we could explain the whole system to them. But it wasn't designed to replace the whole system. It was designed just to be a belief building bridge. Does that make sense?
Yes. And there was another thing that we thought too. If you compare nutraMetrix to other brands that would come into the office, we didn't quite compare on their retail profits. However, we also offered a volume commission based on the movement of product within the practice. And it did not involve other practices. It basically was, if you not only share these great solutions, based on the volume that you produce, you'll get additional revenue. So the combined revenue between the retail profits that we provided, between 30 and 50% return on cost of goods, plus the commissions, put us in front in better positioning than the other companies. That was another thing we had to explain. But we went into this, Brandi, not wanting to be like everyone else. We didn't want that, because we wanted to create time leverage with this too. And we knew if they got the belief in the product, then they'd want to talk to other health professionals. Now, very carefully, everybody that knows a health professional has a lot of referral network of other health professionals, because they just need to know what's going on around them when they can't deal with every challenge that a person has. They have to have their recommendations. So in this case, we've prepared them to build upon that confidence. And that's where the HP1 program actually comes in. And that's where the NC1 program comes in. And I do want you to know, we expanded this to offer it internationally too. So we have a health professional one program for all countries to allow a health professional with the proper credentials to come in, waiving the requirements other than just setting up and being able to manage their business, that piece of business that they're incorporating. But overall, it was a monumental step for us to allow health professionals to enter in and representing our products without a major commitment.
Yeah.
And so it was awesome.
Yeah, and so for people who aren't familiar with the HP1 program, what it basically allows a health professional to do is open an account with 3 business development centers, which might be, if you're watching this and you don't understand our business model, get back with us, ask the person that invited you to watch this today for more information. But a health professional that opens an account as an HP1 gets 3 business development centers, and they can earn up to $1,500 per week in BV commissions on the sales generated through their own practice. And in the United States, they can even earn group business volume if an organization develops with their NC below them. So for example, their nutraMetrix consultant might be leading to other health professionals and place them in the same line. And that group business volume still does contribute to the HP1's commissions, which adds a great leverage step and helps, again, to build that belief and show that the system really works. And then in our international markets, the HP1 program allows them to earn commissions on their own volume, but without the group business volume accruing for the HP1. But either way, with reduced requirements, the HP1s can earn commissions and retail profits. And the ultimate goal is for them to build enough belief to become an HP executive. And as an HP executive, they would be participating in our regular management performance compensation plan with all of the same benefits that a regular unfranchised owner has. So the HP1 is kind of like a hybrid, right? It gives them the ability to offer the products without as many requirements, create limited commissions. They can only earn on one business development center and only on the BV commissions up to $1,500 per week. They don't get the leadership bonuses or IBV commissions, but they can always expand. And eventually we want them to expand, right, Dennis?
Yes. And, ultimately, we wanted to create something they could take should they leave the practice. And this is one of the huge benefits of the HP1 program, the HP Executive Program. So once a health professional gains confidence in the use of the products and the wellness solutions, then if they sold their practice or left the practice, they literally can leave that distribution and leave and take the business with them while keeping that distribution of the products at that actual location, which is excellent. So again, that's leveraging more time. The other thing that was very important to me as we evolved, in a lot of conversations, Brandi, with health professionals, I always would ask a health professional, number one, how would you improve or increase your income by $100,000? And it either had to be see more patients, or it had to be open another building, or another practice, all taking large commitments of income
or time.
Right. And so with this, we were able to show them models based on their client base, their patient base, and be able to translate that into any type of pay increase they were looking for. However, what I was shocked at, the insurance challenges that they have today, with the billing systems and so forth, a lot of health professionals shared with me if they had to do it over, they wouldn't be health professionals, which was very sad. Because we want them to earn the income. Because I don't know about you, when I go see my doctor, I want them to be the very best doctor. I want them to be paid well, kind of thing. And so I just, it was another big thing that I felt really good about. And I know all of our nutraMetrix consultants and of course our team, we're passionate about helping the health professional increase that level of income by adding a service that their patients want. And this is the hardest thing. And they have to just be open-minded. And sometimes that gets me so frustrated, Brandi. I just want to shake that health professional and say, look, we are offering something that you can't get with other companies. I mean, it is just so powerful what we've created.
Let me share an experience that I had in February with the field with that. So in February, nutraMetrix sponsored their very first trade show booth at a a health conference. It was the Integrative Healthcare Symposium, and it was in New York back when we could travel. And Dr. Mason and I represented nutraMetrix there. And it was such a powerful experience because we were in a space with about 500 other vendors. I mean, this was a huge healthcare conference with doctors from all around the country that came to it. And many of the vendors that were there, you know, had great products. There were a lot of product companies that were there. There were some vendors there that were business consultant type vendors. But as I walked around the trade show floor during the breaks, there was not one other company out of the 500 vendors that were there. There was not one other company that offered the scope of what we offer. Not only do we have the great products, not only do we have the implementation programs, not only do we provide the support of the nutraMetrix consultant that goes in and works with the health professional to help create successful implementation strategies for them, but we have all of these tools included in the cost of our unfranchise, which quite frankly is not very expensive at all. In fact, sometimes it's too little money, right? Because I think sometimes if they paid more for it, they would utilize all the resources that they're given more. And that was super eye-opening for me because there were companies there that didn't have product lines associated with them, but just had consulting services where they charge $15,000 to $20,000 to work with a practice to teach them how to create a wellness program. We have those same type of implementation tools. In my opinion, they're even better than what I was seeing at those booths. And we don't charge them $15,000 for that, right? We provide them all of the training at very minimal costs that are included as part of their unfranchise. But it isn't always a simple system. Like simple is not always easy. It's not an easy button, right? You still have to put in time to learn the system and you have to work with your nutraMetrix consultant. And this is why we don't allow all unfranchise owners to just sponsor health professionals into nutraMetrix. They have to go to a training first so they know what tools and resources are available to them, or they have to at least know what tools we have to help health professionals implement in their practice. So we have the nutraMetrix consultant training, or in the international markets, you know, we have tools available in the international markets as well. But the idea is we don't want NCs to just open accounts for the health professionals and walk away, right? Or even if they're an HP1, it's about helping them create a successful implementation strategy, helping them help the health professional realize what we bring to the table for their practice, and then meeting with them and doing the work to create the implementation strategies. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, you bring up a big point. Being an economics major, there's a term called barrier of entrance and barrier of exit. And when you think about coming in and being able to be a part of the HP1 program, our entry level per se, at $159.95, and then a $30 a month kind of management fee, it is so minimal. Which also, as you said, they're not going to necessarily pay attention because it is so minimal. So the barrier of exit is minimal also. So we've got to somehow be able to teach the health professional that this can be $1 million business for you, or this can generate what you're looking for to pick up the difference. And if you have this pain, if you have this need, and you have this void that your patients want that you don't have, then you got to pay attention. Now that's really where the nutraMetrix consultant comes in. That's really where we have to have those people skills and the training to be able to communicate with health professionals. And basically, in addition to that, their staff. I mean, so a lot of individuals don't realize the importance that goes along with the simplicity of an HP1 program. So it's very clear that you have to define what the health professional wants. You have to agree upon a plan of action. You have to be confident enough that the health professional will allow you to implement. And then based on that, hold the health professional or staff members that they appoint accountable to be able to make it work. And like in anything in life, you have to measure. Anything worth doing is worth measuring. And this is where we have to continue to grow. And this is where health professionals have to continue to recognize what they have when they work with a nutraMetrix consultant and our HP1 and HP executive program.
I totally agree. And it's always so exciting when you open a new account for a practitioner because you see what they want and you have conversations with them about their goals. And it doesn't matter what type of health professional they are, whether we're talking to a medical doctor, a chiropractor, a nutritionist, dietitian, physical therapist, it doesn't matter. They all went into healthcare because they wanted to make a difference in people's
Right.
lives. They
Right.
wanted to help their patients and they're passionate about it. Although some of them were feeling burnt out, some of them have been beat up by the insurance company, some of them have been beat up by, just all the regulation changes and all the different things. And so sometimes their light that lit their passion flame is flickering a little bit. So we sit down with them and we help them, create a vision and mission for their practice. Where do they want to see themselves in 5 years? Where do they want to see their practice in 5 years? What are their goals? And you get so much like warm and fuzzies. Like I love that. I love sitting down with them and feeling that excitement. And then life gets in the way. And all of a sudden you recognize that some of the health professionals aren't meeting their own goals. And it's really easy to forget about those, right? And so we do have the opportunity to help them make that bigger impact and be able to expand their practice. For example, we have health professionals who were able to generate enough revenue from their nutraMetrix business to hire new staff members that helped them grow their business and accomplish whatever their vision and mission was. And
Exactly.
that's always so exciting because they didn't see an avenue of how to do that before. And we were able to help them accomplish those goals. But in order to make that bigger impact and grow their practice, sometimes they need to generate additional revenue to do that. And the NC can help hold them accountable and show them a path to get there.
Well, you bring up a great point because a lot of health professionals know that their money is made by seeing patients. Now, you will get those health professionals that do spend 30 minutes, 45 minutes with a client, but it's a different type of model. Okay. But I would like to also bring to mind that based on our experience over the last 29 years, our average customer, our average preferred customer that's purchasing from us in the wellness products is about $130 a month. Now, you got to think about it. There are practices that have, your chiropractic practices, you might have 200, 300 clients. But then you have a general practitioner that might have 1,000 clients, But if you just take the average, and let's just say a practice has 100 patients that are going to do the average buy, might be a general nutrition product with some specialty products that they're about $130. That's annually. When you start thinking about it, it's $13,000 a month, $156,000 a year. And at 35% return on cost of goods, you're talking over $50,000 to your bottom line. So you can have somebody, which I think is so, so important, to have somebody to explain how to take it, how long they're going to need to take it, what their expectations are going to be, and the practice booms on it. The other thing I like about it is, health practitioners always talk to me about, my staff is going to claim they're overworked and underpaid. So what else do I don't think there's anybody in the world that has a job that doesn't feel like they're overpaid. But this is another source of income that a health professional can gain their staff's excitement by being part of the business themselves and helping there too. And there's just so much versatility to the HP1 program and the HP executive program that what we've put into place just would really set us up for the future. And I think the attraction and the fact that since 2004, we continue to do a great job in improving how to work with health professionals better. I think that is what I'm most proud about, the nutraMetrix division, and seeing the evolution of it, but it's the consistency also. And of course, we're going through extraordinary times right now, but still people want to understand how they can protect themselves. Prevention is very popular these days. And any recommendations. And then again, we've created videos that they can run within the offices to help express different areas of interest. And it's a dynamic program. I'm just so thrilled with it.
And what I love about it too, whether you're a nutraMetrix consultant or potential nutraMetrix consultant working as an unfranchised owner that's interested in learning about nutrametrics, or whether you're a health professional that's interested in learning more about being an HP1 or an HP executive and creating a retail model or a full unfranchise for your practice, we have so many tools available. We have implementation tools. We have clinical tools to talk about clinical use of the products. And as you mentioned, not only do we have videos for the patients that can be playing in the waiting area, we now just launched in June our learning management system. And we have over 60 hours of content for NCs to be able to go back to, if they need to learn, how do I approach a health professional again? Or how do I create a proposal? Or how do I put together an implementation strategy? We have all of that in our online learning management system. But we also have learning management systems for the health professionals. So if they are looking for a very specific product education piece, we have that in there. If they want to look for, how do I turn my waiting room into an education center? We have that. How do I talk to my colleagues about nutrametrics? We have that. And so we want to encourage people to attend a nutrametrics consultant training or a nutrametrics 101, 201 in our GMTSS system, so that they can learn enough about nutrametrics to get access to the tools like our learning management system. So they can either have a simple conversation or they can dive right in and embrace the entire learning curriculum. So no matter where they are on the spectrum, maybe they just want to learn enough to be able to talk to people, to add nutrametrics consultants to their team. We have solutions for that. If they want to be able to work with health professionals themselves, we have solutions for that. If they're a health professional that wants to create an implementation strategy, we have tools for that too.
Right.
So
Brandi, one of the things that I love about the division is we also give content to them. For many of our nutrametrics consultants and health professionals, they fail to utilize that content, whether it be an article that's been written, the themes that we put out on a monthly basis. All of this can be translated in the form of a patient base or client base that's going to get the patient asking the health professional questions or the staff the questions. And again, these are all areas that we provide that we have to get people to take full advantage of. And I say to all the health professionals that are listening today, or nutrametrics consultants that are listening today, or those interested in serving health professionals, okay, there are so many aspects of it. And, once you get the account and you're setting it up, you've got to put in place the educational side of this that is going to keep not only a patient to use the products, but keep using them ongoing. Because like exercise, whether it be supplementation or weight loss or lifestyle, you can't do it for a month and then stop. It's going to go back to where you were. So you've got to get something that you can have good compliance to. And I think the education really opens it up. Through our years that we've been together in nutrametrics, it's always been the education that keeps that patient and health professional coming back. Recently, we had clinical faculty teach at a product symposium that was just spectacular, where we had thousands of people online learning about not only the themes, but what is being added on, the approaches that they can take to enhance the experience or enhance the results that people have when taking the products. But I think from a standpoint for a health professional, to take a look at the nutrametrics HP1 program and look at the many options and the diversifications of services that we are offering and the ability to teach on those services. It's just amazing to me. I'm just so proud of it.
I am too. Thank you so much. And so let's wrap up with what are their next steps? Where do they learn more?
Yes.
If you're an unfranchised owner, check the GMTSS. Our next nutrametrics 101, 201 is going to be held on December 6th. It's a Sunday. It's going to be an all-star. We're going to have some of our best faculty members training during that Sunday. It's actually the day after the TLS All-Star 101, 201. So I'll plug that as well. We have an entire weekend of training between TLS and the nutrametrics 101s and 201s, TLS on Saturday, nutrametrics on Sunday. And then we have January 30th and 31st, we have both a nutraMetrix consultant training online and a health professional product and implementation training online. So whether you're an unfranchised owner or NC or a health professional, we have 2 full days of training that are available to our nutraMetrix family members. And then we're going to be meeting hopefully in person in May for our first in-person nutraMetrix consultant training and health professional training, along with our nutraMetrix convention, which will be held in Herndon, Virginia. So you can learn more about that on marketamericaevents.com. Any final comments, Dennis? And thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to talk to us today. It was a wonderful pleasure having you as part of our Lunch and Learn series.
Well, it's important to me, everything that we do for nutraMetrix, because of what the potential is as we look forward. Where we've come from and where we're going, we haven't even scratched the itch yet. So I'm excited to see the potential that we have. I'm also excited to see in the success that we've had. When I talk to health professionals that have done well in implementation and creating the return they had hoped for while helping their patients, it feels so good. And then when I start talking to people that want to serve in the health professional community that become nutraMetrix consultants, they're passionate about what we do. So we get to enjoy waking up every day knowing that we can contribute to something special for individuals that are looking to improve their health and wellness. Overall, I do want to acknowledge our training systems in nutraMetrix are so good. They continue to get better. And that's a tribute to you, our director of training, and also the way that we communicate on an ongoing basis. Dr. Deidre Mason, who also oversees the project actively here as the director of nutraMetrix, has done a great job also. So if I had to tell those of you listening today, if you have a concern about it taking too much of your time, you owe it to yourself to take some time to see how it does fit into a very busy and active practice. I also want to recommend that you don't put your foot in the water. If you decide to implement, get in the water and swim. Because in the last 29 years in our experience of this company, and in the last 16 years of officially nutraMetrix, we only know one way to go, and that's up. And you should be part of the growth and success of our future.
Thank you, Dennis. That was beautiful. And it's so, I love what you said about we wake up in the morning knowing we're making a difference. And I love the leverage component too, because, as an individual, I can only work with so many people per day. Even as a practitioner can only work with so many people per day. But when we pool our efforts together and we work with other like-minded people, and even if we get one other person to introduce the lifestyle component or a product that changes somebody's lives to somebody else, we expand that reach and we send this ripple out that literally can change our communities and change the health of everyone and for generations, which is super exciting to me. So I'm honored to be a part of it. And again, thank you for your time today.
My pleasure.
Thank you for everybody that joined us for our Lunch and Learn or Breakfast series. And we'll see you again next week. Next week will be Sarah Tegander with Jason Pelland, and they're going to be talking about some of the tools offered through our web center and digital marketing suites. So awesome. And we'll see you next week, everybody. Have a wonderful week. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay.